Following the killing of prominent Lebanese journalist Amal Khalil by Israeli forces on Wednesday, news has emerged that she had received explicit death threats from an Israeli media commentator and retired military officer. In September 2024, she had received explicit death threats in broken Arabic from an Israeli phone number which said, "We know where you are and will reach you when the time is right, even though you're not worried about us. But in the end, we'll take everyone into consideration. I suggest you escape to Qatar or somewhere else if you want to keep the connection between your head and shoulders." After Jeremy Lofredo from Dropsite News contacted the same number for comment, its owner, Gideon Gal Ben Avraham, replied, "Journalists affiliated with Hezbollah are spies for Hezbollah," and said these are not innocent people, then adding other death threats. Journalist Kaden Goodluck also reached out and received multiple voice messages from Ben Avraham after he claimed he was under attack by the media.
Because to give an intel to a terror organization or trying to customize yourself as a journalist, even while you are doing your job, it's supporting terror. And if you are supporting terror, you know that you need to know that you are destined for death.
Amal Khalil was a correspondent for Al Akhbar and was killed in a targeted Israeli strike in a southern Lebanese village in Bin Jubail while on assignment. She and Zainab Faraj, a freelance journalist, were covering events close to the border. According to Al Akhbar, the two journalists were traveling behind another vehicle when, at 2:45 p.m., that car was struck by an Israeli drone.
I mean, animals. What do you say? What do you say? Yeah, Red Cross was blocked for 7 hours from helping her. She made phone calls asking for help. Khalil was trapped alive under the rubble for hours, having made a phone call to her family and the Lebanese military for help. Kuda told CNN on Thursday. The Red Cross was blocked for 7 hours, and when they reached her after 7 hours, she was already dead, she said. This kind of obstruction of rescue efforts may really amount to a war crime. May really. It is a fucking war crime. It's a war crime to target this person deliberately for doing journalism. It's a war crime from the start. This is why I said the ceasefire is bullshit.
Immediately killing the two men inside of it. Then, Khalil and Faraj fled and took shelter in a nearby house, where Khalil contacted her employers to let them know what had happened. As news spread, the president of Lebanon, Joseph Aoun, called for rescue operations, coordinating with the Red Cross. However, at 4:27, the house where the journalists were hiding was bombed by Israeli forces, and contact with both women was lost. Israeli forces kept targeting the area, making rescue operations for the Red Cross nearly impossible. They were able to evacuate Zainab Faraj, who is currently in stable conditions. However, Khalil's body wasn't rescued until she was found dead. Israel has killed since October 2023 at least 14 journalists in Lebanon, the most recent ones prior to Khalil's killing just last month, and it has killed over 260 journalists in Gaza.
Hi, I'm reporting to you.
By the way, this is why it's fucking bullshit that these guys can cry as much as they want about, like, oh, Hassan said this, Hassan said that. They're fucking slaughtering. Israel is slaughtering, carte blanche, as many journalists while openly saying they're targeting journalists. And the reason why they can say it is because they've gotten away with it over and over again. It's not, you can't live with a malignant force like this in this region, in your backyard. How are you supposed to exist? Israel is making it impossible for you to survive. Nada Makarant Atala says, we spoke to our reporter Zainab Faraj, who survived the triple tap attack that killed her colleague, Amal Khalil. She described how an Israeli strike first hit a car ahead of them, killing 2 civilians, before a second strike targeted their own vehicle, severely injuring Amal. Miss Faraj said she helped her into an empty house where they lay wounded and terrified, waiting for help. A third Israeli strike then hit the building where they were hiding, collapsing it on top of them. Amal was gone, Miss Faraj said, and I was left alone. Throughout the ordeal, the journalists made repeated calls for help, but Israel prevented the Lebanese army and the Lebanese Red Cross from reaching them, informed sources told us.
from Beirut. I can't believe I have to make another video to announce the death of a colleague and a friend of mine. Amal Khalil, who was a correspondent for Al Akhbar and one of the loudest voices of truth here in Lebanon, was executed by the Israeli army in a targeted airstrike in the town of Al Tiri. After a drone strike happened in front of her, she was with another colleague and they went to seek shelter inside of a house. 2 men were killed in that drone strike, and when Amal and Zainab went to seek shelter in this house, she was able to reach out to some of the colleagues to...
I need you guys to understand, by the way, this is deliberate. Like, they are deliberately doing this. They're deliberately murdering journalists. Like, there's no plausible deniability. And not only that, but also, what is this Twitter lib claiming to have info? I have information that will lead to the arrest of Hassan Piker. They're fucking joking, man. They're throwing their hat in the ring. I've given money to numerous efforts promising major action against libs that went nowhere. I've become skeptical. Let's see an arraignment. Anyway.
Let them know where she was, so everyone was aware. The Red Cross, UNIFIL, people in the government knew that she was there. And the Israeli army prevented the Red Cross from reaching them with live ammunition and stun grenades. And eventually they targeted the house where they had been seeking shelter. And I want you to make no mistake about this. This was a blatant murder. This was a targeted assassination, and the Israeli army committed multiple flagrant war crimes this afternoon during this incident.
كانت عم تقرب تعبطني كل شوي. الأمل
مكتوب بريس والدرع
ما في، على أساس هونيك إنه في وقف إطلاق نار، على أساس هيك، على أساس في جيش فوق، على أساس بالوقت اللي كنا مارقين من الطيرة كان في سيارات عم ترجع كمان، بس ما سمعت صوت صاروخ نازل أو أي شيء أبدا.
Yeah, the question is, what exactly does sovereignty mean? What exactly does the Lebanese government expect to get out of negotiations with Israel when they can't even convince them not to violate the ceasefire to assassinate a journalist, when they beg Israel to let rescue workers help her to no avail? What does sovereignty even mean after this? The indignity of having to speak of journalists being attacked and murdered with double-type strikes, and the fact that the Lebanese state had to ask the Israelis for rescuers to be allowed to help them on Lebanese land. During a fucking ceasefire, by the way, which is completely gone. It's done. It's not happening at all. Breaking: Israel's carrying out airstrikes in southern Lebanon as U.S. brokered talks between Israeli and Lebanese officials take place at the White House. They're doing this on purpose. I need you to understand, just like they deliberately targeted that journalist and killed her, they're doing this on purpose as well. This is a flagrant violation of the ceasefire that they're doing in a symbolic manner. Like, they're doing this so that you understand, so that everyone else understands, so that Iran understands that they hold all the cards here, that America cannot restrain them, and that Iran can't do anything about it. Okay?
This is a bitter moment for many people in Lebanon. For Amal Khalil's family, her friends and colleagues, but also for all those who had followed her journalism over the years. Hundreds coming to pay their respects at her funeral, to show their pain at her loss, and to honor her commitment to telling the story no matter the price. her press vest held up high above the coffin, a symbol of her bravery. And a spontaneous moment of applause. Earlier in Beirut, fellow journalists, media from around the world, gathered to protest the killing of one of their own by Israeli forces.
She was the voice of the South, really. She was telling us about the stories of the communities. She went where a lot of people were too afraid to go. We lost a beautiful human being. We lost a very important woman for us, but we also lost a source of accurate information and reliable information on the suffering in the South and on violations and on war crimes.
Do you think that Israel deliberately targeted her?
Yes, absolutely, because she was threatened lots of times from the very first in October when they started in Gaza.
A year ago, Khalil had spoken on a podcast about the threats that she was receiving.
تلقيت استهداف مباشر على هاتفي من الموساد من الإسرائيليين.
I received direct threats on my phone from Mossad and the Israelis. They threatened me with death threats, literally saying, "We will separate your head from your shoulders if you do not leave the south."
Khalil and a journalist colleague, Zainab Faraj, had been driving near Al-Tiri, currently under Israeli occupation. The vehicle in front came under attack, and the women took cover in a nearby building, alerting contacts to their location. Then that building was hit by an airstrike. Faraj was rescued, severely injured.
There was a ceasefire. That's what we were told. We were told there was an army up there.
The emergency teams then came under fire. It took several hours for them to secure access to the site, and by the time they found her, Khalil was dead. The deliberate targeting of journalists is a war crime. Israel says that it doesn't target the media, but the numbers tell a different story. Look at Gaza. More than 200 Palestinian journalists have been killed there since October the 7th, according to the Committee to Protect Journalists. And the numbers are rising in Lebanon too. The IDF says it is reviewing the incident and that it believes that the vehicles posed an imminent threat. You won't find anyone here who believes that. Nor will you find anyone who believes that Israel will ever be held accountable. Diana Magnay, Sky News.
Yeah, everyone there is right, by the way, because Israel is an unaccountable force. No one will hold them accountable. This is supposed to be a fucking ceasefire to begin with. It's just unbearable to do this kind of coverage on a daily fucking basis where it's so obvious that Israel is unaccountable and gets to do whatever kind of war crimes they want to do with total impunity. And even bringing this up as a problem automatically makes you public enemy number fucking one in the Western world. Lucky for us, the people are aware of what's going on. And hopefully, eventually, we'll have enough responsive politicians to hold Israel to account, slowly but surely. I know it sounds so stupid to say in this very moment, but inshallah, one day, okay? One day, Israel will get punished for all of its war crimes. One day. Hezbollah has announced 4 operations so far today in response to Israeli violations. In their 4th operation, Hezbollah stated that they shot down 4 reconnaissance drones in Mansouri. They just also published this FPV video from the 6th. I don't know what else to say, man. No other fucking country has any motion here, any power whatsoever. It's just so crazy that we just keep showing the world over and over again that, honestly, has the Western world changed that much from the period of the Holocaust? Like, the average German citizen probably had just as much knowledge about what was going on inside of the death camps as like the average Westerner does now. Israelis certainly know, and they love it. Obviously, we know that, right? But I'm talking about like our complicity too. We just look at Arab lives as expendable, as collateral. That's all it is. And then the mother